Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Astrology with Shantae Out Loud. I guess I never officially titled this, but today we're going to be discussing March 2024's astrology from a Western tropical whole sign perspective. I go by Shantae Out Loud, practicing self-taught astrologer of 12 years, in business for 5. If you are listening to this video, you like what you hear, and you do want to take it a step further, please feel free to visit my website, shantaeoutloud.com, where you'll find opportunities to work with me via consultation, opportunities to read my blog, and opportunities to learn more about your personalized astrology. Today, I'm going to be talking about the month of March 2024, and I have quite a bit to say to preface what this energy is going to be about. As we move into March, as we know, it's Pisces season, and with Pisces season comes a opportunity for us to really take a look at what is conscious and subconscious and how it empowers or disempowers us from meeting our calling, or the call of our purpose, right? I think about this a lot, especially with the full moon that we experienced in Virgo back late February. That was a real big moment for some awareness to come in. We had Saturn opposite the moon. We had Saturn opposite the sun. There was a sun conjunct Mercury. There was a lot of awareness because wherever the sun goes is where attention flows, right? We saw or were called to the carpet on a lot of cycles of service, self-service, disassociation, association, dependency, and codependency that really called us out and said, is this the way you want to continue? Are there new ways that you can maybe update the way that you associate or the certain way that you view associations within your life that are going to be ultimately more healthy for you, that can help you build stronger and more sustainable habits? So hopefully over the course of that final week of February, you were really able to get clear on what it is that needs to start shedding, and then starting the process of creating, the circumstances in your life where you can shed those associations, especially if they're negatively affecting you. Now, as we start to move into the month of March, things really do take a change. There is a opportunity for a lot of awareness to come into play this month. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are getting ready to move into an eclipse. And over the course of the month of March, as we lead up to March 25th, the eclipse's energy of the actual day, we're going to be triggered in multiple ways, primarily when the moon moves into Cancer, Libra, the lunar eclipse will be in Libra, but primarily when the moon moves through Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn. These are all going to act as eclipse triggers over the next couple of weeks. So if you have an astrology app, personally, I love me some, time passages. Make sure to pay attention to when the moon is transiting a cardinal sign. This is going to be a great way for you to get an idea of what you can expect to start manifesting as a result of this transit. Additionally, the North Node is in Aries. So a lot of this month is going to be making us come to terms with those associations or disassociations and where we fall in the midst of that. Piscean energy can really enmesh very easily with the society that it places itself around and the ideology that it aligns itself with. Not every ideological, norm is something that is good for you. Sometimes, the way that one thing is running for really successfully for another person might not be as a part of your path. This month of March is going to ask you to figure out what works for you. What in your life are you associated with via ideas, via associations, via relationships, via ideas and thought processes that are either going to get you where you want to be or kind of keeping you where you are that you've maybe outgrown. So do prepare for a lot of that in terms of your shifts to take place. Also, remember that March is a time for cleaning and cleansing. It's Pisces season. We're really being asked to look over the last 12-year period and figure out whether or not we feel like we have gotten everything we needed out of our experiences, right? What have the last 12 months since the sun first entered Aries? What did I start over the course of 2020, April or March 2023? What do I have to show for it as we're moving into March 2024? This is also your time to take a look at your soil, right? This has to do with really taking the time to figure out what we're going to start planting. I'm seeing it around, right? I'm seeing landscapers out. They're taking a look. What soil can we go ahead and drop seeds, drop plants into where we know these things are going to thrive? That is the energy of March as well, right? Is your soil conducive to the plants and the opportunities that you want to grow? Especially because March has a lot of implications for September and October of 2024. So a lot of the endings and beginnings or the cycles that we're experiencing are opening us up into what fall will look like. And another thing to remember with Aries energy that we are going to be getting in March, I see this as an open roads energy. Aries to me is that opportunity to push forward. It's the emperor, right? We are forward on direction. We know where we're going and we're moving as fast as we can to get there. If you have anything surrounding your life, surrounding your environment, surrounding your relationships, surrounding your mental health, surrounding your energy that you would like to disassociate with, use Pisces season to get rid of it. I know personally, I'm going to be really taking the time to clean out my drawers and my cabinets and my closet. Some of those things in the areas of our lives, like I have Pisces moving through my fourth house. So yeah, let me look around my apartment and see, are there things in these crevices of cabinets and drawers that I'm holding on to that I really don't need anymore, but I'm just keeping because, they're just there. And it's like, how can I manifest these things that I want in the month of April for myself if I'm still holding on to that old thing that is not going to allow me to make space for the new? So that's another way to really think about it. If you could pick your life 6 months from now, when we have, the new or the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, or when we have the solar eclipse in Libra, based on what you figure out right now, what March shows you, what will you set yourself up for in September and October? Okay, I think something just a little weird happened. Sorry for that brief pause, but we're going to go right back into it. Let's just go into the transits of the month that are going to be coming up. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to share my screen with you guys. Oh, perfect. And here we are. So as you guys can see, we are looking here at March 1st, which I wanted to talk about. So first and foremost, we have the sun here in Pisces at 11 degrees of Pisces, here making a sextile to the Jupiter in Taurus transit. So this is a really great opportunity. Taurus and Piscean energy work really well together. Ultimately, they are very supportive, as sextiles are. It's that blending of energy. So Sun sextile Jupiter, two planets that really get along pretty well. This is a great day for good things to happen. Maybe you get an opportunity handed to you. This is an opportunity for expansion and comfort or beauty, or even financially. Maybe you get the interview with the job you've been wanting. Maybe you have someone who you've had a crush on reach out to you. Maybe your partner says, you know what, I'm taking you out on a date today, surprise. Anything that really brings comfort, beauty, or pleasure to the forefront this Friday is going to feel really good with the sun sextile Jupiter. this is even something that you decide, you're like, you know what? I realized like I'm going to go out on a whim and go get a massage, a sweetest massage. And wow, you know what? This feels so good. I want to continue to get sweetest massages in my ritual and routine for self care. Maybe every 2 weeks, I'm going to book that sweetest massage and really feel good. So, really expanding the way to serve ourselves can come up. This can also be a way that we expand services to other people. Maybe, you know, you can donate to someone's GoFundMe. Maybe you can, you know, give your friend a really great piece of advice, or, you know, give them a really great recipe that they love. There is a lot of pleasure and shared mutual satisfaction with this Jupiter sextile sun energy. This is baby making energy as well. So if you're not interested in that, just put a little, you know, be careful about that. But it's really expansive and it's very blessed. So at the very least, enjoy this day of things feeling really good, abundance around you. This would be a great day to go outside, you know, get out in nature, and really enjoy, you know, what earth and the beauty and the mixture of earth and, you know, the magic of creation, right? Moving into, and I'm looking at my handy dandy notebook. So if you see me look down, that's what I'm doing. I want to move into the 8th and the 9th because the 8th and the 9th of this month are very important days. First of all, on the 8th and the 9th, we have, oh, let me go ahead and change this. Mars 8th. So on the 8th and the 9th, as you can see here, we have Mars in the sign of Aquarius in a square to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So Mars square Uranus. And honestly, guys, Mars square Uranus is quite a difficult transit. This is because when Mars and Uranus come in together via square, a lot of times, especially when it's coming together in two fixed signs, one fixed air and one fixed earth, there's a lot of reluctancy to shift and change things. Mars is about action, it's about force, it's about direction, but it's also about severance. It's about pointing. It's a little sharp. So when we see this energy come into play, a lot of this has to do, you know what, I'm going to Okay, so like I said, with Mars, oh, let me go ahead and get back to sharing. Sorry, guys, computer problems. You get it. All right. So back to Mars in this square with Uranus. So Mars and Uranus brings a lot of contention to the forefront. Again, we have fixed Earth, Taurus, meeting fixed air, Aquarius. And so there can be a little bit of a lack of understanding. Air wants to move, it wants to flow, it wants to move on. Taurus at the core wants, or fixed Earth definitely wants to stay put. It wants to be stabilized by its environment. More than anything, Mars square Uranus is probably going to be showing you where your life demands an upgrade. There's probably something that needs to be cut off or switched out in order for more ease to flow. In some cases, this can even be feeling like a lot of minor incidents that finally reach to a strong, you know, a pinnacle here. Mars square Uranus can bring incidents and accidents with it in Aquarius and Taurus. I think when I've seen a lot of this, it's banking issues. So not being able to log in. Oh no, we sent a bunch of money to a bunch of the wrong places. This is, oh shit, that paperwork that was supposed to be about that, that's wrong. That contract needs to be redrawn. It is also accidents, but sometimes accidents are happy accidents, right? Sometimes we're super pissed about making every red light to this, you know, the local coffee shop, but when we get to Better Buzz, the person in front of us buys our drink order. So that is the energy that's going to exist, and this is pretty prevalent on the 8th and the 9th of March. Now, on the 9th, later on in the evening, we will have Mercury go into Aries. As you can see here on on the 9th, it'll still, or late in the afternoon on the 9th, it'll still be in Pisces, but in the evening, it will move into Aries. Mercury in Aries is great. I can even move it up one day. You can see it. Mercury in Aries is wonderful, guys. When we have Mercury go into Aries, it brings a lot of forward motion to the forefront, but it is only going to be feeling this great for a couple of days because we know that eventually Mars is going to go into Pisces. So you have a few weeks to get really good use of what your plans are to move forward, what you need to cut off, having some tough conversations, and getting really clear on the direction forward that you'd like to move in. As you can see, Mercury is also going to be in a really nice sextile to Pluto on the 10th, which brings a lot of opportunities for clarity and awareness. We're cutting out the old. We're re-examining the foundation and making sure that what we say we are trying to build is possible based on what our core principles are that are moving us forward. Next aspect. Oh yeah, this is a good one. You guys are gonna like it. Venus in Pisces. As you can see here on the 11th, Venus enters the sign of Pisces. And I'm smiling so hard because Venus loves Pisces. This is Venus's exaltation. And when exaltations come up in the chart, it's an opportunity for us to feel really good. And it's for us to feel really enamored by the planet itself. Venus in Pisces understands love, it understands romance, it understands the depth that it takes. It also understands the sacrifice and the sacrificial act of love. But we do have to be careful to not get too carried away by our fantasies and our feelings as things start to move us forward. Now, the 11th is also important. If you see here in Aries, we have the North Node conjunct the Moon. Remember what I said about cardinal moon signs being very important to what is going to take place as we are moving towards the eclipse. The 11th is exactly 2 weeks from our Libra lunar eclipse. And with moon conjunct North Node, it could be suddenly you're starting to feel the energy of the upcoming eclipses come into play. There is maybe a realization about yourself as the moon is moving in Aries and the North Node there too, a realization about me and maybe who or what I'm related to can come up here and call into question some difficult emotions to arise as a result. Oh, I forgot to talk about the new moon in Pisces, which is on the 10th. This is a really great opportunity for making some really big changes and shifts for yourself. Again, the new moon in Pisces on the 10th is actually making a really nice and very important conjunction to the lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 18th. So set yourself up for September success, guys. Kind of have a long way to go with the 16th. Oops, I went too far. All right, as you can see, the 17th brings in Neptune conjunct the sun in Pisces. So Neptune conjunct the sun is a double-sided, sword. In some cases, when the sun and Neptune come together, there is a spiritual awakening. The sun illuminates whatever it touches, and Neptune is our planet of spirituality. It's our planet of interconnectedness. It's our planet of even ancestral understanding. Well, this is really great when we need those spiritual awakenings. But when the sun sometimes conjuncts Neptune, we can also become privy to what we've been ignoring or pushing under the rug. Neptune can be a planet that is hard to see or sense or understand. This is maybe an opportunity for us to be aware of where we've lacked understanding up to this point, and maybe have to see where it has provided some unnecessary suffrage for us. This is, in any event, the realization and an opportunity to make change and work better for ourselves moving forward. Tomorrow. Here we go. So the 18th, another big day, guys. Here we go. You see the moon is here in the sign of Cancer. Ding, ding, ding. Cardinal moon placement. Big, big day. Be watching that Cancer moon. We're building towards eclipse, and baby, we are a week away. We've got the North Node here conjunct the Mercury in the sign of Aries. Messages about the moon, guys. This is a really important day because I do foresee a lot of information coming to the forefront that will have to do with the eclipse energies as we know them. Now, I know that the United States is awaiting a very important shift, a particular lone state, about some information about, you know, politics and separation. Again, with Aries and Libra energy building up, it's not for nothing that this conversation is taking place and this division is taking place. This us versus them is a major theme all throughout the collective experience in March, but also our personal experience. What do we believe? What does it mean about those close to us? What does it mean about what we want to protect, right? Especially with this moon in Cancer here. What does this mean about our future, the future of the generations that come from us, that what we create? Big news, big United States news for sure this day. Really going to be quite the period as we move into the 18th. The sun actually moves into Aries overnight, or here over Tuesday night, but we'll move it here. 20th, officially equinox day, guys. We like when the sun is in Aries, right? The sun is going to be exalted. We only, though, have about 2 or 3 days left before we lose Mars in Aquarius supporting the Aries sun. Because we know that when Mars moves into Pisces, Mars will move into its detriment. The reason that Mars is detrimented in the sign of Pisces is because sometimes needing to cut off and, you know, remove and release ourselves from old ideologies or associations or connections or dependencies is really hard. It's our comfort zone. And oftentimes we find ourselves very aligned to them on a subconscious level. That's why it's hard to break habits. That's why you need a hypnotherapist, like I have one. But that is the truth. A lot of what we're going to be dealing with as we move into this eclipse is going to kind of once again, be bringing more of that energy to the forefront. Now let's move into Mars in Pisces. So here we go on the 22nd, Mars has entered Pisces. So wanting to go back, the strength of Mars in Pisces, yes, it's detriment, blah, blah, who cares? The strength of Mars in Pisces is it can tap into the necessary details and information just as hard as Mars in Virgo, but it has to remove itself from distractions. This means that you're going to need to spend a lot of time over the course of this month of March, really coming to terms with what distractions do for you. What is a distraction for you, right? Maybe maybe you can scroll social media most of your day and not really feel like you're that distracted by it. That's not everyone's truth. Maybe you can let, you know, music play in the background and get your day and get your stuff done with ease. That's not everyone's truth. So you're really coming to terms with what is empowering your truth forward, empowering you to move forward. And is it really setting you up for success in the things that you say you want? Or are you still just being stuck and hammered and tied to the past? We get one nice last final moment. No, I'm just kidding. We get a really nice moment with Venus sextiling Jupiter. Now, this is an energy that's going to exist pretty much from the 23rd all the way through just about the 25th. And this is Venus in the sign of Pisces sextiling Jupiter and Taurus. This is what astrologers call mutual reception. Mutual reception happens when two planets or two signs have two planets placed in one another's exaltations. Venus exalts in the sign of Pisces, but it rules Taurus, and Jupiter is the ruler of Taurus. So there's a lot of positive energy and positive feelings happening between each other. They're really getting along. And with Venus sextile Jupiter, it can't get much better than that, right? Venus is our senses, our pleasure, beauty, love, and Jupiter is expansion and experience. So, you might find yourself in for a really expansive experience, romantically speaking, maybe an expansive experience, art speaking, religiously speaking, really just comfort and peace. It might be a day where you're like, you know what? I'm going to go ball out at Macy's home store because I need a whole bunch of new pillows and I need new sheets and I want this new stuff to make my house more comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and buy that lavender Le Creuset, right? dish set because I want the beauty of when I'm cooking in my home and my environment. A lot of what I see Pisces and Taurus energy as is a real opportunity to enmesh our environment, the beauty of the spiritual and how it can become material, or how without the spiritual, materiality really didn't exist, right? Something had to have created this that is, beyond this realm in order for things to exist. So definitely delve into art, definitely delve into beauty and pleasure over the course of that. And you're going to want to, because dun, 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 Libra lunar eclipse. Now, this lunar eclipse has a good thing with it, being that it's a Libra eclipse, which means it's a Venusian eclipse, and Venus is currently transiting the sign of what? Pisces, right? Now, that being said, as you can see, Venus and Pisces are actually pretty close here, working towards conjunction. This is a full moon in Libra, which means that we are being exposed. We are being realized. Things are coming to fruition about a certain path. Now, this has a lot to do with paths that we've experienced. And I want to say this. Eclipses do not have to happen on the day of the eclipse, or eclipse energy does not only exist on the day of the eclipse. This stuff can happen in the weeks leading up and in the weeks after the eclipse. But all of this has to do with your relationships, guys. This is your relationships, to relating. One of the most significant things I'm feeling going to be coming up has to do with the groups and communities that we associate ourselves with, right? Especially right now when we're in this period of such specific turmoil, specifically with what's going on, where we need to be freeing Palestine, ceasefire forever, give those people their land back. But not everybody who is screaming that understands the depth of what they're screaming for. Okay? This is why March is really an important time for introspection. Not everybody who you are in community with, who has the same pronoun or same title as you, does or thinks the same way as you. And on one hand, thank God. But on the other hand, if they are not being honest and not doing or believing the things that you believe and honoring you in that way, you got to get away from them. And that's what I think a lot of Venus conjunct Saturn is, because even, and it comes up, over on the 21st, we will actually have Venus conjunct Saturn. And I think what Saturn and Venus together does is it brings us rewards and realizations about relationships. Like I said, Venus in Pisces is really great for all of the romanticism and, oh, I can't believe we actually made this come together. But it's also it lacks awareness. You do not need to only and always be in relationship with another person to come into better relationship with yourself. If you are in relationships with people or things, ideas, idealism is at the height here. We're talking about Pisces and Libra energy. These are the most idealistic signs, maybe of the zodiac. Are the ideas and the associations we have to those ideas actually good for us? This even has a lot to do with alcoholism and drinking. You know, at the end of the day, Libra is a Venusian sign, right? So they love pleasure, they love sex, they love beauty, they love the indulgence of having the Venusian aspects of the relationships. If I'm in a friendship group and the most of the what we do is go out and drink, and that's almost all we do, that's the only way we relate, and maybe I'm deciding I don't really want to drink that much anymore, I have to really rethink this association, right? Or I'm noticing every time I drink, I feel really bad about myself the next day. I'm uncomfortable, whatever it is. We're re examining associations to indulgences because Pisces has an indulgence problem too. You know what? I'm smoking too much fucking weed. You know what? I'm talking too much. I'm paying too much attention to social media. I'm paying too much attention to celebrity gossip. Whatever it is, your associations are starting to shift. And it's time. Venus conjunct Saturn, a lot of times it's like, it is that bump in the road, right? Hey, is this relationship something I want to continue? Hey, you know what? Honoring this relationship is not something I want to continue, but I'm grateful for the experience and I've learned a lesson about myself and something that I can adapt or integrate into my life, maybe even on a spiritual note. And thank you for the lesson. It's literally thank you next, Ariana Grande, like, right? Thank you next. Because sometimes in relationships, we outgrow things, we outgrow people, we outgrow indulgences, right? I used to love to drink whiskey, now I'm a tequila mommy. Like who it doesn't matter, but the point is, right? You are shifting and you are changing. And with those shifts and changes, it means that relationships are going to also be shifted and changed. And it doesn't have to be bitter. It can also be really amicable, but it has to be real, which is where this Libra lunar eclipse has a problem working things out because the nature of Libra likes to keep the beautiful gowns shit. And what you're going to be doing, I was telling someone about this today. I was like, it reminds me of Saltburn. If you've seen it, there's like that scene in Saltburn after like one of the characters dies and everybody's like, well, we have to go to breakfast. And it's like, bitch, there's a dead body in the backyard right now. And you're telling me that we have to be on breakfast because we eat breakfast at 10 a.m. Who cares? There's a dead body here. And that's very much the energy. It could be over the course of these moon cycles, you start to realize that the people that you're related to on an intimate, on a network, on a friendship level are not who you think they are, or like to ignore or push things under the rug that you simply can no longer ignore. And you're going to be called to, stop going along to get along. Libra, as much depth as Libra has, can sometimes be really guilty of only being surface level. And unfortunately, this new level of relating that you are seeking to go into, if you've decided so, will not allow you to relate to people under bullshit pretenses, under lies, under dishonesty. You cannot progress. And this Libra full moon is really going to call you to the carpet on it. Sorry, just how different things are. So good luck with this Libra lunar eclipse. Gosh, I think I'm going to end it there. That is like the biggest transit of the year, of the month, right? And that's the big one that people are going to be looking at. But like I said, guys, March is about you. You really have to make it, you'll do well to make it about you. And I think I want to be clear with that because people think that making it about you, it's like narcissism. And it's like, no, I've got to get clear on my core values, my core beliefs, what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not. So that way I can be more discerning about the people who I let into my life, the people who I associate with, who I network with, how I network with them, why I'm choosing them as a part of my network. What do I believe? So that way I know I'm easily able to be aware of when somebody is pulling the wool over my eyes, when somebody who is telling me that they agree with me or believe what I believe is actually not in that same space with me. And that's a really difficult thing to come to terms with. But that is the key because, again, you have so much opportunity to align with the right communities and the right love and the right kind of people if you clear out this March. But you can't if you don't. So, a lot of stuff to do. That being said, I do have some really great opportunities for you guys to work directly with your astrology as it pertains to everything going on up in here. If you're like, Shantae, I need you to look at my chart the same way you looked at this, here's how you can do it. ShantaeOutloud.com, I have 2 readings that are really specific to the month of March. The first reading is Unlock Your 2024. This is going to talk about the eclipses of, this is going to talk about actually the entire month of March. So all of these planetary configurations that I talked about, how do they aspect you and your chart and what your reality is going to be? That's what you'll get in the Unlock Your 2024. The second option is our Aries and Libra eclipse cycle, where we'll talk about the 2 eclipses here and the 1 eclipse that we're going to have later this fall as well, as a means for you to kind of take a look and get an idea of what this is going to manifest as once we get to the fall 2024. You can really set yourself up. So yeah, that is really all I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So that's what I've got for you. Thank you again. My name is Shantae Out Loud. I am so glad to be able to provide this. Come see me if you want to put you back in your universe. Bye, guys.